know, I'm Lori Poirier. I have Lori's craft classes, Lori's Crafty Creations on Facebook and Instagram. And I teach at my home studio in Scarborough during normal times. I teach with Boomerang. I teach all over the place. You can find me anywhere in the city. So today we're doing herringbone. I just want to show a quick little blurb for next Monday. This is what we're making, if I can hold them steady enough. So shoulder duster earrings. All the components are stainless steel and semi-precious stone. You can make it however you wish. It's the basic wire wrapped and simple loops class. I just did a project for you for this one. Okay, I'm going to set those aside. The cat can't get them. And I'm going to show you a preview for a couple of classes, well, one class in October, if I can remember how to share my screen. It's not showing up here. Share screen, there we go. So this is called Vampire's Kiss, and we're going to do this in time for Halloween. But if you don't want to do the Halloween one, and there's the earrings, you can do a waterfall. Same premise, just not the Halloween part. Okay?
Lori,
and
how is that done up on the back?
I have a barrel clasp.
Okay.
So a magnetic barrel clasp. Now, ladies, if you want to do one for Halloween and you don't want to put in as much effort, go to Ardan, buy a three-strand pearl necklace, and I'll show you how to adapt it. So just as a little side thing, you know, you can cheat a little bit on this one. Let me get my other camera on. Okay, and it's blurred. Oh, helps if I take the lens cover off. Okay, so let me get it angled in properly. There we go. I'll keep trying different angles, but I think this one's probably the best. All right, I'm going to show you how to do the herringbone on the 8mm size. 6, 8, 10 does not matter. And then I'm going to show you how to do it on a big one. This is a crystal, flat crystal, and it's probably over ½ an inch. So, oh, I just realized it might have a different, hello? Oh, no, it's good. I just want to make sure it was drilled straight through and not at the top or something. Okay, so for today's class, you'll need a cutter and flat nose pliers and a pair of round nose pliers. We just have it muted because I've got a bit of feedback happening. And just unmute if you need to ask a question. Okay, so I have here my 22 gauge and my 24 gauge. They aren't quite interchangeable, but I'm going to show you both. Okay, so we'll start with the 22, which is the thicker of the two. Pull off your ring and find the end, and I'm just going to cut about 14 inches. Now I know that my mat in front of me is about 13 inches, so I'm just going a little bit more than my mat. And I might as well snip 3 pieces right now because I'm going to use 3 pieces. So I have posted all of the October classes onto my Facebook page if anyone wants to take a peek. And I'm just trying to get them up on Boomerang, but I was having a problem with their calendar system. So I'm just waiting to hear back about that. And then we'll get those booked in. It's a little too close right now. Let me try. That's better. Okay, so your first step, just smooth out your wire a tiny bit. It doesn't have to be really smooth for this one, but just try and make it straighter so that you're not fighting with it the whole time. Now, what we're going to do is put our bead on it. Now, normally, oh, you know what? I'm going to start with the other part. We're going to make our loop for the top. So take about 3 inches, okay? Bend it over and make your loop. So we're just crossing it. And then we're going to start wrapping it. Now we're going to wrap it down about 10 wraps. We want it about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch wrap down. We want it as perfectly as we can get it. So you're going to have to just squish them up together if they start to move down. So I want it as tightly coiled as possible, okay? Straight down from that loop. So let's do that. I can use my fingers on this one and just shove it back up into place. You might want to use your tools, not a problem. Whichever way is most comfortable for you. Excuse me, little itch. And we're just gonna keep wrapping it around. Don't overlap if you can, just make it as neat and tidy as possible. And try and keep them right next to one another. Got a little gap there. I'm going to try and close it up. There we go. And I'm just going to hold it up. So now you won't see this part in particular, but you do want it nice and tight. So I've got it as tight as I can get. I have a little gap, but I'm not going to really worry about that little gap. Now I have it wrapped pretty much as far as I wanted it to wrap. So I'm going to trim that little bit off. I just want about 1/2 inch. Now, I'm going to push that little bit in, up and in. I have a kitten sitting right at the floor here watching my wire move. Okay. So there it is. Okay, that's our beginner. Now, we put our stone on. And please remind me if I go out of camera. You know, the webcam's still fairly new for me. I think I've got a good range here today, so. All right, so we put it through. We're gonna bend it at the bottom. Now, I'm going to try and keep my fingers out of the way. We're going to bring it up to the top of our stone where our neck is. We're going to call this the neck. And we're going to take it right next to the stone, wrap it once, and down the other side of our stone. And you want to work nice and tight against the stone, not like the 3 peas in a pod where we wanted it to move outward. We want this to stay as tight to the stone as possible. So I'm going to hold it like so. I know it makes it harder for you to see. And I'm going to just hold everything in place, bring it back up to the top. Okay. And I'm going to work on one side, either this side or this side of the stone. So each ring around goes behind the next one, or in front of as this was, because I'm trying to show you. So I bring it up to the top, I find where my last one was wrapped, and I wrap it around just above that one.
A little lower, Lori, please.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back down behind, in your case, in front of the last one that I wrapped. I'm going to hold it in place, bring it up, find where my last one was wrapped around and go just above it. Oops. Don't want to go too high up or else you leave gaps in it and it looks a little messier, like the photo that I submitted. That wasn't the right photo. That was my first attempt. Okay, I'm just pushing it back into place, but you can see now it's starting to get that look. Okay. And I've wrapped it around. I'm going to bring it back down around the bottom, around the bottom of my stone, back up, Find that spot just above where I wrapped the last one. Wrap it around and go down. Let me see. You can see slightly the herringbone pattern starting on there. And the slower and more carefully you do this, the better it looks. This is one where I try not to rush. So I've got it just above the last one. Wrap it around, down.
I don't get it.
Okay, let me.
It's just keeps slipping off the bottom of my thing.
Okay, so you hold it really, really tight.
Okay.
That's like,
So we're working it all on one side of the bead, not on both sides.
Okay.
you're going down, you're going, okay, so you start at the bottom where the bead comes up, where this
Yeah.
cord comes out. You go
Okay.
up, wrap, and down the other side. Up, wrap, and down the other side.
So right on top or right beside? Like,
Are we working on the front and the back of the bead, or back like on either side, or all on one side of the bead?
It really looks the same. It's just on either side.
okay.
You show us the side of the bead, Lori?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Because mine just keeps slipping off.
Yeah, well, you can see like it has slipped a little bit. The back, there's less face of the stone, but the front, it's fine. Just hold it really tight. What wire gauge?
I think it's like a 24. I don't have 22. I have 20 and 24.
Okay, so that could be part of it because
Yeah.
if it's not heavy enough gauge,
Yeah.
if your hands are good enough for the 20 gauge, try it.
Oh, okay.
It will be hard, but it'll probably work better for you.
Okay.
So I've got the first one done, but you can see the lovely herringbone going up. That's the back, I think. Yeah. And now the last step, I've got it up at the top, and I'm just going to wrap it once or twice and then trim that. So you always point it the way you want it to go before trimming. Just like so. Okay. So that's our first one. We're going to do like 3 more. I think by the time I'm done the set of 3 and then the extra one will be good. The extra one I might do a little bit differently and use it as a bracelet piece. So we'll see. Just if you've grasped how to do it by the 3rd one of this size, I'll try something different with this. If you haven't, I'll do it on this one because this has flat sides. So I think you'll see it better. So let's get our second one.
We're still on the first one.
That's okay. You know, don't worry. You'll catch up partway through my demoing the second one. We'll meet up, okay? All right. So again, I want
Lori?
about, yes,
Sorry.
no
Can
problem.
I show you this? I don't know if you can see it or not.
Oh, let me switch views. Oh, come on. Okay. Oh, lovely.
Is that the way it's supposed to look?
Yeah, except try and go higher. Like the tip of it, you should go higher each time.
Okay, you're
Sorry, my
yeah.
hands
Thank
were out
you.
of view.
Your hands are out of view.
So each
Okay.
time you come up, you're wrapping on top of what you wrapped before. So they're going in like a triangular shape at the top.
Okay.
Oops.
Awesome. Oh, that's perfect. Thank you, Lori.
Okay, got it. All right, and we're gonna start on the second one. Don't worry, the way I like to teach is just repetitive because you'll get it. I may say it a different way the second or third time, and that way it'll click with you. The way I learned to teach is my son had severe ADHD, mental health issues, and he would come home and not know how to do something, and he's gifted, on the gifted spectrum. So I would sit and I would teach him, and I would go over it maybe 5 different ways, and each time would be a different way until he got it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I teach. If you don't get it the first time, I don't repeat myself exactly the same. I change the words up I change the way I teach so that you will get it. And that's just how I think teaching should be. You know, you may not understand the first way around, you'll get it the second or third. So let's have fun.
Laurie,
Yes.
can you see me one time, please?
It's very, very small in my screen. Can you bring it closer to the camera? It looks right. Why do you have two pieces? You haven't trimmed?
Only one, but the only thing I'm holding is like this.
Oh, okay. No, it looks good.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna start wrapping my end piece around, and I'm gonna do it really slow. I'm gonna hold it with pliers. I'm gonna go to my big screen now. I like to be able to have the speaker view on so I can see exactly what you're seeing. Make sure that everything's focused. All right, so I'm just gonna hold it with my pliers. And it doesn't matter if they're round nose or flat nose, you're just holding it flat anyways. And I'm gonna take my time and just wrap it all the way around. You're wrapping it maybe 10 or 12 times if you don't want to use measurement. Just do it that many times because you're only going up about 4 or 5 times on this piece. And you just want to cover this area when you go up. So now my friend Victoria does these in a heavy gauge brass, and they're just stunning the way she does them. Yeah, if you like brass, check out her work. She's called Brocade Jewellery. Brocade, yeah. All right, so I have about the same amount. Oh, one trick, and I'm sorry to say it now. When you're making them, make both necks at the same time so that they're the same length. Okay, that was a trick I forgot to mention and forgot to do. So that way your earrings are exactly the same. But you know me, if they're a millimeter off, who's gonna notice? And if they're that close, tell them to back up 6 feet. All right, so I have my neck. Hard to see because I wore the wrong color top today for this piece. There we go. And I'm gonna put my bead on, my stone. Yeah, I was having fun all weekend. I was doing all kinds of jewelry making for October's class samples. All right, so just bring it as close to the stone as you can and straight up. And I'm pushing this with my thumb here so that it's not falling backward towards me. And then I hold it as tight as I can so that my wire isn't moving. Wrap it around once and back down to the bottom, okay? And then when I come up, I'm trying to stay beside this first one. So either in front of or behind, whichever you choose, doesn't really matter. You bring it up, snug them up together if they started to move, hold it nice and tight, wrap this around just above the previous wrap. So if we can see, I'm just going right above it. I'm gonna bring it down and around the bottom, nice and tight. Not so tight that it will slip off, but tight. Bring it up to the top and you can hold it like so, just to hold everything in place. Gently wrap your wire all the way around to the other side and back down. Okay, and we're just rounding around the bead each time. Go up and nice and tight, twist it around the neck, down and up the other side. And I'm going to twist around the neck. And I think, let's just compare the two. I think they're about the same size. So I'm going to finish off by just wrapping this around my bail once, twice, and trimming. And always point your wire the way that you want it to snip. That That way, when you snip it, that end is already curving around where you want it to go, and it doesn't stick out as much. I'm just gonna poke that in. There we go. So there's the earrings, all right? If you're doing earrings, do the 2 neck pieces the same first. Now, I didn't bother getting out a bigger stone for the pendant. I'm just going to wrap it a little more. So I'm going to do a little bit longer neck, and we'll see how it goes. Okay? So I want, again, about 3 inches of wire. And we bend it on a 45, 90 degree, sorry. Drafting classes in college, I've forgotten already. Put it in a tiny bit on our pliers. I didn't really go through this step, so I'll do it more in detail. So we put our wire in about 1/8 of an inch in on our pliers. Okay, about 1/8 of an inch. And we roll this over and down. Okay, and then I like to roll my pliers up, bring that over so that it has crossed, and then hold this flat with your pliers and bring your wire nice and tightly around the stem or the neck. Okay, and because I did it so slowly, I'm getting it tangled now just because I'm used to going quick. And just, I like to push it up as I go so that it's nice and tight. If you feel that you can't do it with your hands, put your round pliers in your non-dominant hand, grab your good pliers, and just grab it by the very end. Whoops. And pull it around. Okay, you have to let go each time, or otherwise it's going to wrap around your pliers. So you just grab it by that same spot and wrap it around. Okay, and you grab it and pull. That's all it is. And this just makes a bail and the neck for wrapping. And I'm going to switch it because I like to do it with my hands. All right, so I'm going to do this neck a little bit longer. I'm hoping I cut enough wire that I can do a couple more wraps. Okay, so that's it. It's not perfect. This doesn't have to be perfect. The closest that you can get is best, but don't worry. It's not going to show as much. And I'm going to trim that last little bit off. Now, I did post on my Facebook page about John Bead having more hours again, the outlet store. So you just put your stone on your wire. I can find the silly hole. Okay, and now we're going to bring it up to the top, wrap it around, bring it down and around the bottom, right next to the last piece. Bring it up to the top, wrap it around the one that we, just above the one that we just did. Okay, bringing it down around the bottom, up around the one that we, above the one we just did, down.
You go all the way around or just?
All the way around, because if you're just going to here and bringing it down, it's not attached to the neck. So you have to bring it up, wrap it around, and then bring it down so that it's attached to that neck part. Okay, bring it up, wrap it all the way around and down. And you can see, because I made the neck longer on this one, It gives it a really nice profile for more of a pendant. So I'm going to finish this off. I've got maybe one more wrap, I think. Up, yeah. Wrap it around, and I'm going to finish wrapping just to use up that last little bit. And I'm going to tuck it with my pliers. And what I mean by tucking it is I just sort of grab it and squish it a little bit. You don't want to squish your herringbone part because it'll ruin it, but you can squish way at the top here and just do it gently. I quite often use the back of my thumbnail too and just push it. Okay, so there's the one that I made for the pendant. And you can see the little arms going up, up, and up. Not sure which side I like best. Okay, so that's the basic herringbone. And it's taken us all of half an hour, ladies. That's how simple it is. This is one of the easier classes. I know I say that, but this one is really easy. Thursdays is easy. I'm going to show you something different with this one. Thursdays, as long as you can do the open and close jump rings, you can make the bracelet. Next Monday, those pretty earrings that I showed you, it's just wire wrapped loops, simple loops and wire wrapped loops. So the loop that you did here with the neck, that is a wire wrapped loop. So doing that and then simple loops, which I'll teach, you can make those lovely earrings. All right, so I want to try, that was my 22 gauge. I want to show you what 20 gauge, or 20, that was 22. This is 24. 24 is a little thinner and it doesn't like to wrap as nicely and neatly, but you can do it. So I'm going to make it a little longer because I want to really wrap this big one. But same sort of premise. I'm going to show you a little differently though. All right, so I want my stone in the center, and let's see. I'm going to do it, and I'm just visualizing it in my head for a second because I'm doing this differently. I'm going to do herringbone on both sides instead of just at the bottom. So just, okay, so I want to start 3 inches in, bend it, and make my loop. Now this wire is much thinner, so it's not going to make as pretty a line. Now, I have it 1/8 of an inch in with my 3 inches sticking out. I always tell people, if you're making a lot of loops, mark your pliers with a Sharpie. If they're black pliers, mark it with a whiteout. But mark that line. Most of my pliers, you can actually feel the line now because there's been so much wire wrapped around them. All right, so that wraps around like that. And we just roll our pliers in our hand, bring it over, and we start wrapping. So I'm going to switch hands. Maybe you'll be able to see it better. And I'm just wrapping it around the main piece of wire. And I'm going to go down about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch again. And you can see it's not as pretty looking. It because it's thin wire, it tends to bunch up a bit and not go exactly where you want it, but we're not going to worry about that. And you can do it messy. You can do it messy on purpose, and that way you don't have to worry about it. Just do it a little more organic, we like to say. Okay, so there we go. All right, I'm going to trim that little bit off. Make sure I have my trimmers, not my pliers. I love Xeron, as you know, but I wish they made things in different color blue. All right, so I have my base, my neck. There we go. Now I want to put my stone on. I'm going to trim off this wire because I need 2 different pieces for this. So I'm going to find, there we go. That went on nicely. All right, so I want a neck about that long. Okay, so to about there, and then another 3 inches. Okay, just to make that whole loop and wrapped. So snip. This I will use in a moment. All right, so what you want to do, and if you want to take a measuring tape, measure this section and then start here. Okay, so we're gonna move it like so. And I figured that and that are about the same size. Make your loop. And again, 1/8 of an inch in on your pliers. Roll it over, down, hold it like that. And we're just gonna start wrapping. Okay, so this is a 2-link herringbone. The earrings and the necklace pendant were 1-loop herringbone. So this can be used as a connector. So if you have a bunch of black beads for a bracelet, you can put this in the center of it as a focal point. Okay, I'm just trying not to bend my wire too much as I'm wrapping. And you want it nice and tight so your stone isn't moving. So just wrap it, keeps moving on me. Just wrap it around until it's nice and tight. There we go. So I have a neck on either side. I'm going to trim this little bit off still. There we go. I'm going to start with my other wire. Just seeing if I have the same one in silver, but I don't. And just leaving a little tail. Wrap the tail around the wire. You're not going to see that tail, don't worry. Just wrap it in. And you can trim off the last little bit or just push it with your nail to get it in place. Now, what we want to do is we just want to come around the stone, wrap it, and come down the other side and wrap it.
Lower, Lori, please.
Oh, sorry. Okay, and so we're just wrapping on top of the last one and back around, and on top of the last one and back around. On top of the last one, or above the last one, not on top, and around. And we're just keeping our wire to the side of our piece. Around and on top of the last one and around. Sorry, my fingers are slipping. Hold on. There we go. Just want to get that little kink out. Around. And you see, it's a very simple movement. You're just going around the outside of your piece and wrapping above your last wrap. Isn't that pretty? Oops, let me get the good angle. There we go. Now that in the center of a bracelet would be a lovely piece, I think. So let me finish it. I'm going to come down this side, just hugging the side of the stone, around, and I'm going to go up, and I'm going to finish it up here. Trim it. Now the last thing you have to do is make sure that your 2 circles on either end are going the same direction. So what I like to do is just hold it flat in my one pair of pliers, hold it flat in my other pair of pliers. Whoops, come on, please. And turn it. Okay, so turn them so they're both facing the same direction. And that's it. So you see the herringbone is very versatile. You can make earrings, pendant, bracelet. You can do a whole bracelet of this and just have them joined with jump rings. You know, there's so much to do. You can use it as a centerpiece for a necklace. Just all I would do is curve these end pieces up a tiny bit. And you know, with wire, you can curve it afterwards. It's not a problem. So let's try a 20 gauge wire. And I'll get my big guy here. Oops, start to uncoil, there we go. I normally poke it through the top when I'm finished with it, and I guess I didn't last time. All right, I'm just gonna do a single stone. Oh, no, I'll do the same as I just did. Do you want me to do a single stone like the earring set, or do you want me to do one like this? Just set or individual?
I like the individual.
Do the black one.
Okay, I don't have another black one over here, but oh, it's just at the other end of the table. I'll be right back. Let me snip this. Okay, excuse me. Oh no, those ones were in the bedroom. I have other containers here. Let me just see what I have at hand. I don't want to run to the other room to grab one. I have every color crystal I have in blue and red out here from the other necklaces. I think. Oh, you know what, ladies? It's a little bit of wire. I will just snip it and we'll redo it. There we go. All right, so we want to start about 3 inches down, bend it over. We're going to put it in our pliers at about 1/8 of an inch in, roll it, and remember this is a heavier wire, so you're going to have a harder time. Hold it like so, bring it across. Now I'm going to switch hands, so I'm using my dominant hand. And I'm just going to wrap it. And I'm going to try and make it as close together as possible because it's a thicker wire. I have a lot more control. You can see how much neater the coil is going just because it's a thick wire. But it makes it much harder on your hands. So if you're not able to, don't worry. Just stick to the thinner wire. And they give different looks too. So I'm gonna do maybe 1 or 2. I think that'll be enough. So my cutter, I just wanna push this up a tiny bit so they're lined up properly. Come on. And yes, it does help to talk to the wire. Okay. So now I have them all nicely lined up. I'm going to trim off that little bit. Okay. And I'm going to put my stone on just so I know how much wire. So I want the same length as my neck. Okay, so about there, and then 3 inches. Okay, so I'm going to trim it right about there. Put my other wire around. I don't think that's going to be enough for what I need to do, but that's okay. So we start our circle at our same amount as here. So about there. I'd say that's about the same. Take our round nose pliers, 1/8 of an inch in, roll it over and down, spin my pliers, and start wrapping. And you can see with the heavier wire, I can do it a lot quicker. I may not have had enough there. Let's just see. Can always put in a little patch wire on this point. Okay. As I get closer to the stone, it gets harder to wrap because I have to fight with the stone getting in the way, or the crystal in this case. All right, yeah, it looks like I cut just the right amount. I'm gonna grab my pliers to finish off that last little bit, and I'm just gonna pull it. Turn and pull. It's really stiff now. All right, that works. My stone isn't moving. So I'm going to trim in as close as I can get, holding the end of my wire that I'm cutting so it doesn't fling everywhere. There we go. And then I'm going to squish it so that it's not poking out at all. All right, so there's my base part, okay? Make sure that your two round pieces are facing the same way so that when you go to use it, it's already in place. Now, I'm going to cut a long piece of my wire, probably about 30 inches, maybe a bit more. I have a ton of it, so I don't worry about it, right? Now, you want to just wrap, oops, sorry, wrong camera. You want to wrap a tiny little bit just around as close to the stone or crystal as possible and trim that little bit off. Okay, so now we're ready to start. I want to squish that a little. It's really loose. I didn't tighten it well enough. There we go. You don't want it to spin while you're working. That's the only thing. All right, let me get all of this mess out of my way so you can see my hands better. And I'm just going to go down the side of my piece, wrap it all the way around the neck, trying to keep that positioned in the same spot. Down the side, and we're going to wrap it around the neck and down and around the neck. Whoops. See, with it being a heavier wire, it will take off on you sometimes. So you have to really keep good control. Down the side and just above the last wrap, we wrap it around. We go down, wrap it around, bring it down. And unlike the 3Ps, we're keeping it tight. 3Ps was very organic, so we wanted it loose. Okay, and around, just above the last one, wrap it down, around, and you can see how nice and neat that looks now with the thicker wire. It's a very different look, but I'm telling you, the thicker wire, even though I'm used to using it, is hard to use at this gauge for this project. All right, so down, and I'm sort of rounding the wire as I'm going too, so that it helps a bit. And I want to go around the neck. This will be my last one, I believe, because I'm running out of space. Round, and I'm going to wrap it twice here. Okay, so there's my piece. That would look lovely as a bracelet. You could do a bunch of them or just a single one. And oh, we have 15 minutes. We'll chat and figure out what else. I can always do a couple of the small ones again, so not to worry. Did everybody catch it well enough?
Yes, it's good.
Okay. I think with
The wire looks nice.
yeah, the thicker wire does look so much nicer.
It shows properly.
Yes, it shows the weave better. I think I will make a bracelet for myself with that one.
Lori, can you
Oh.
make an earring with that gauge? Or is that too hard?
Let me try. Okay, I'm going to straighten my little piece here. And yes.
Bigger bead looks, it's easy to make and looks better. See, I
Oh, let me get to the Brady Bunch view, as I like to call it. Okay, it's still a bit away from the camera, Jega. Move it closer, please. Remember, I'm seeing you about this big. Yeah, yeah.
This is little bigger bead. See, the gold one is smaller.
Yeah, bigger is easier.
Bigger
Yes.
is easier because it will hold more twist.
Wire.
Yeah,
And you can hold it better in your hands.
yes. Yeah. See, can you see the difference? The bigger
Yeah, just barely though. I can't see a lot of it. unfortunately, because of the camera size, but okay. So I'm gonna try an earring with this. Let me just straighten it as much as I can because straightener, oh, my straightener is right here. So this is my straightener, my favorite little tool. It's by Artistic Wire, and I think they're under $20, and it just straightens everything out. Okay, so now with this gauge, you can pretty much straighten it by hand by just warming the metal. All right, so we're gonna do an earring. So I want to start about 3 inch, or I'll do a pendant just because I just wanna make sure that I have stones over here. I have lots of crystals because I was working with crystals. Oh, I have some big ones here. We'll make a pendant. Look at this. A nice piece of, oh, what is this one? It's a jadeite, but isn't it pretty? Oops, sorry. Yeah, it's nice and big and it's like rounded on the sides. Oh, I don't know about the rounding though. Let's try this one.
Yeah, I have one like that. Okay, I'll make one with that.
Stones and Findings. They were putting out grab bag type stuff beforehand, like at the beginning of the pandemic. And I grabbed up one of each color scheme. They're lovely. All right, so I'm just going to do about 3 inches down, straight over. I'm putting my tool so it's a 1/4 inch. My wire is a 1/4 inch in, and I'm rounding it down. I am going to go a bit fast on this one just because of time. And then I'm going to start wrapping it. So I'm going to switch hands. So I'm using my dominant hand for the pretty work. Oh. And I'm just going to wrap and wrap and wrap. So this is a single herringbone piece, not the double link. Okay, I'm going to trim that off. There we go. Thread on my stone, which I hope is center drilled. Yes, with these, because I didn't buy them in strands. Oh, it might not go on the 18 gauge. 18 gauge you can sometimes use and sometimes not. It's starting to go through. Let me just try and ream it a little bit. No, it's not. I'll just have this. Oh, sorry, I put it right in front of your face, ladies. All right, so let me try a couple of pieces. I won't close the box up until I find one that fits. Oh, there we go. So Stones and Findings, I love going there to buy some really nice stones and all of my silver. They're downtown Toronto. All right, so I have it in place. I'm going to start by going up the one side, holding it nice and tight, wrapping it all the way around the neck, just moving it back into place a little bit if it slips. Down to the bottom, around the bottom, up, around the neck, back down. I don't think I cut enough wire.
I was going to say, how long of a piece did you cut?
I just had leftover scraps I was using. Okay, but let's just wrap it around and finish. Yeah, I didn't have enough there, but you can still see I slipped. This is supposed to be the front, but the wrap looks better on the back. And then, yeah. So it will work really well. It's just harder on your hands. And I know some people are newer and they can't really manipulate the heavy duty wire yet. So let me switch cameras back. If I remember how, there it is. It's like you have to remember everything each time you do it. There we go, that's me. I hope you enjoyed it. I do love the herringbone look. It's like an orbiting thing around a planet to me. It's very, orbital. I don't know what else I can call it. So I showed you the previews of a couple of classes coming up. Did everybody see them, or did we have a couple of people come in late? Not late, but after I showed them.
I
Because I
didn't
can
see.
always show. Sorry?
I didn't see them, Mrs. Candace.
Oh, okay. So there's one that I had a lot of fun with. It's called Vampire Kid. And let me just get it up. So this is its sibling. This is a waterfall.
Oh, pretty.
And those are the earrings we're doing next week on Monday. It's not up on there. Please keep checking. And then, whoops, wrong way. That's the Vampire Kiss.
Cool.
I figure we'll do that in time for Halloween, but if you don't want to do the gore factor.
Does it have to be 3 rows of pearls, or can we do 1 row?
Oh, you can do it however you want. Whatever you like. I'll be teaching both. I'm sorry? Not sure if that was feedback or someone talking. This one is basically the tamer version of this one. And we'll put as many droplets as you want. That's completely up to you. Okay. So October classes, I'm trying to get them up, but calendar program is not working for me today. It won't let me go to October. So I've already let Boomerang know I was having a few difficulties with it this weekend. Hopefully they'll get it sorted today or tomorrow so I can get everything done up. But if you go to my Facebook page, Lori's Craft Classes, look under events, and they're all listed for October with photos. This Thursday chainmail class, we're doing a simple bracelet. We're just putting beads on them, and it looks so nice. It's one of my best sellers with beaded chainmail. So tune in. It's same bat time, same bat channel. And you just need, I don't know, 1/4 inch ring, 532 rings, my standard too. And I'm going to let Jagga say it. What kind of beads, Jagga?
On it?
What kind of beads? Megumi?
Oh, Magatama.
Megatama. Thank you. I never remember the name. I have to look it up every time. Luckily, where I buy them at Bead Dynasty, I just go in and go, the Maggie beads. And she knows what I mean. And, you know, she sells them to me.
Magatamas?
Magatama, yeah.
Yeah.
Slanted, little bit slanted.
Yeah, they're on such a cute angle that they hang nicely on the chainmail. So it just gives a really nice look. And then Monday's class, of course, are the earrings, which is just your wire wrapped and simple loops. But find a frame piece. Find a funky little piece of metal, well, 2 of them for earrings, that you can add beads and chain to. And just, you'll make it your own.
Thank you so much, Lori.
You're
This was
very
really
Thanks a
cool. I
lot.
really like this one.
Sorry, that was
Okay,
fantastic.
great. And any questions? Oh, sorry.
Thank
All right.
Thanks so much, Lori, for another amazing workshop. Joanna is working on getting the next workshop for next week, next Monday uploaded. So
Perfect.
stay tuned, everybody. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks a
All
lot.
right.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. See you on Thursday.
Bye.